Hey, what's up everyone? Chillambu here, and this is my first ever YouTube video. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and before we begin, I should mention that there are some minor spoilers if you haven't kept up with the manga. If you're still here, let's begin. So in today's video, I'll be talking about Koji Kashin and who he could be. If you've been paying attention to Boruto manga, you'll know that Koji is an inner in the group called Kara. His character is pretty enigmatic. We don't know if he's truly loyal to the group, as he killed the Elder with seemingly no explanation. There's also the fact that Koji seemed to be worrying about the prospect of Kara's leader Jigen having a healing power that he wasn't aware of. His fellow Kara member Delta doesn't seem to trust him either. Koji Kashin gets his name from a Japanese folkloric magician who is an elderly man with white hair and a beard who uses tricks to deceive others. Now I personally believe Koji is Jiraiya. That's right, I'm predicting this pervy sage is alive. Now before you say, oh, not another one of these guys, I have some really good proof here. Now, people probably think that it's too obvious for it to be Jiraiya, but if you think back to Naruto, it's pretty obvious that Tobi was Obito early on if you pay attention to all the clues. If this isn't Jiraiya himself, Koji's at least some kind of clone of him, and there's plenty of evidence to back this up. The most obvious piece of evidence is the fact that Koji has Jiraiya's hair color as well as the red lines that extend down from their eyes. Next is the fact that they both have very similar jutsu. They can both summon toads, they have strong fire style, and most notably use the Rasengan. Both Boruto and Konohamaru basically shit themselves when Koji pulled out the Rasengan and immediately questioned who this guy really was. The fact that he is wearing a mask tells me that he is at least looks like Jiraiya, because if he didn't, there would be no reason to hide his face from us. We all saw in the case of Obito that the reason why he was wearing the mask in the first place was because it wouldn't have been a mystery because we saw his face before. We would have known that he wasn't Madara. An interesting piece of evidence is something Orochimaru says when he rescues Tsunade after she and the other Kage are defeated by Madara. Tsunade says that if Orochimaru changed his ways earlier, Jiraiya wouldn't have had to die. Orochimaru then responds by saying that it was better for Jiraiya to die the way that he was than to risk him changing as a result of Orochimaru's change. Every time I think about that, it never really makes any sense as to why Jiraiya would change just because Orochimaru decided to become a better person. But this could have some significance. The final piece of evidence that makes me almost positive that Koji is Jiraiya is the fact that Koji's signature technique, True Fire of Samadhi. True Fire of Samadhi is a very powerful fire style jutsu that once ignited cannot be put out now by neither wind or rain and will burn until the target is completely incinerated. It has shown to be powerful enough to even incinerate a person that possesses regenerative capabilities. This technique is mysteriously similar to Amaterasu. You may ask, well Chillambu, what does Amaterasu have anything to do with Jiraiya? Well, more than you might think. If you remember back to part 1, when Itachi and Kisame are going to kidnap Naruto, Jiraiya swoops in and traps him in Summoning Toad Mouth Trap, which basically summons a giant toad's esophagus to trap targets. Itachi and Kisame escape because Itachi burned a hole in the toad's esophagus with Amaterasu. This really shocked Jiraiya for two reasons. For one, no one had ever escaped the jutsu before, and two, the esophagus was of a fire-breathing toad. Jiraiya then used the fire sealing method to seal the remnants of Amaterasu in a scroll. My theory is that Koji's True Fire of Samadhi being this similar to Amaterasu is absolutely no coincidence. Is because Koji created True Fire Samadhi by studying the Amaterasu sealed in the scroll by Jiraiya. The word Samadhi comes from Hinduism and Buddhism and is defined as a state of intense concentration achieved through meditation. In Hindu yoga, this is regarded as the final stage at which union with the divine is reached before or at death. So, with that said, I'm seeing some signs that something could have happened to Jiraiya as he died to explain him becoming Koji Kashin. Now, to dispel some other theories I've heard. Some people try to say it could be Jiraiya's son, but if we take a look back at the series, Jiraiya himself says that he thinks of Minato as his son and Naruto as his grandson because he never had any children of his own. Koji being a child that Jiraiya didn't know about doesn't make any sense either because it's heavily implied that Koji is from the Leaf Village, and there's the fact that Koji can use the Rasengan without a scientific ninja tool. If Jiraiya had a son in the Leaf Village, I'm pretty sure somebody would have known about him. And when it comes to the Rasengan, every character that knows it has to learn it via the balloon training method. There's also the fact there are only 4 people alive, not counting Koji, who know how to use it. Some say that it's Jiraiya's brother, but it was never said or implied that Jiraiya had any siblings. And someone in the Leaf who has abilities similar to Jiraiya would have been more well known, especially if they knew the Rasengan. Others say that it's just a random past student of Jiraiya, which would make some sense, but I find it hard to believe that a student would look so similar to their teacher. Well, Lee looks like Guy, but Lee deliberately made himself look more like Guy by wearing the same clothes and haircut, and it was made to be a running joke. I feel as if when a character is deliberately hiding a part of their face, it's because we, the viewers, have seen their face somewhere in the series before. Again, just look at Obito. I've seen someone say that could be Konohamaru's father, which is probably the most absurd theory that I've heard. I'm pretty sure Konohamaru would know his own father, and then there's the fact that Koji has way too much in common with Jiraiya for someone to think that he's somehow Konohamaru's father. The only thing against Koji being Jiraiya is the fact that despite Koji Kashin himself saying that he was losing his edge in his old age, he doesn't look like an elderly man. If Jiraiya were still alive, he would be over 70 years old at the time of the Boruto series. Then again, Tsunade uses a jutsu that makes her look like she's in her 20s, no matter how old she gets. If you look at the word Samadhi, it basically has a lot to do with reincarnation. Maybe Jiraiya was reincarnated and he doesn't remember his former life as Jiraiya. It sounds ridiculous, but we've seen some crazy stuff in the series before. Well, there you have it. In my eyes, this almost proves that Koji Kashin is Jiraiya. But what do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Or do you think Koji could be someone else that I didn't mention? Please hit that like and subscribe button, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks.